When I moved into this new house and met my 3 new housemates and I asked them what they were doing professionally, one of them said, I make protein bars with insects. And I was like, what? Like protein bars with insects? So Marie came from France about 3 years ago and now she's here doing these protein bars with insects. So I asked her if it was possible to see how she does it. Like, how do you, like, is it like a lab? How do you, like, can I see? And she said, sure.
Today we're gonna see an insect breeding factory. I rented a house and inside the house we have all the insects and we breed them.
And does anybody live there or?
Sometimes we have volunteers.
And do they live inside the house?
Yeah, they live in the house.
This is so steep. My God.
Let's see. Andrea?
Andrea is the agricultural engineer in the team and she's in charge of managing the breeding of the insects.
Are you okay?
Estoy solucionando un problema aquí porque hay un concierto al cual yo quiero realmente ir. Entonces después de que solucione esas boletas me pongo a trabajar. Pero eso está ahí.
This house is insect breeding, so we breed a larvae which is called Tenebrio molitor. In English it's also mealworm. And this larvae has 3 times more protein than meat. A few years ago I was in Malaysia in Asia and I started to eat insects for the first time. Like my friends gave me some big white larvae and I was very frightened, but I tried it and it was really, really good. And at that moment the United Nations, they made a big conference about the fact that insects is the future of protein and we should breed insects because it's better for the environment and better for health. So this is why I started to do that.
And you couldn't do it in France because at that time it wasn't allowed, right?
Yeah, 4 years ago when I wanted to start, it was not allowed to do it in France, in Europe. So I started here in Colombia because the city where we are, Medellin, has the right climate to breed the insects. So we don't have to heat the room in winter, we don't have to cool the room down in summer.
Yeah, wow. I think it was just last year it was allowed.
This year? No, 2021.
Yeah.
2021 it was allowed in Europe. So now maybe in 1 year, 2 years we're gonna develop our project in Europe. This is the food of the insects. It's called wheat bran. It's the bran of the wheat seed. And we also use carrots. We use the carrots that are not that nice and they don't want to sell it for humans, so they sell it for animals.
Wow. It looks like a like a pandemic thing.
So we need to use this net so that we don't have other insects coming in or other animals.
Wow.
This is the adult. So the adult looks like this. Can you see? And so the beetles feed on the wheat bran, right? And they lay eggs.
In there?
In there.
Okay.
And then we collect the eggs and the eggs we transform in larvae.
Wow.
So those are the larvae.
That's so cool.
So this is what we use to produce the protein.
Ah. You use the larvae?
Yeah.
And then why do you have the adults?
Because we need to reproduce.
Ah, right.
To have more insects.
Otherwise you would kill them all.
Yeah.
And how did you learn how to like...
I read a lot and then I met some people that were already breeding insects in Asia, in China, in France.
That's so cool. Then you came here and you rented this house.
Yeah. I bought 1,000 larvae. I put them in my room and I waited for them to transform in a beetle. And then the beetle, they made more larvae.
Nice.
Then I changed house and I had a garage, so I put them in my garage for like a year. And then we went to this place.
Wow.
So we freeze the larvae, and then when we go to the factory, we sterilize the larvae. So we put it in like hot water, and then we dry it, and then we grind it. So we make the powder, and we use that powder. So we use the whole larvae, basically. Okay, we are going to prepare the carrots for the insects.
Like they live on the food.
They live on the food, exactly. But sometimes during the week they need carrot because it gives them a source of water and vitamins.
Here in this machine they are separating the adults from the eggs and the wheat. So the new tray with only eggs and wheat gets to wait until the eggs develop into worms, and the adults in the other tray just continue reproducing and creating more eggs. And then there's a third tray with just dead adults.
We received the authorization to sell the products in September.
Ah, okay.
Like we couldn't sell the products before. We were just saying to friends. Yeah. Like you know the sanitary authorization?
What do you need to do to get it?
Oh my god. A lot of lab analysis, certification of the place where we make the bars. They check every ingredients that the bar has, and because we had a new ingredients, they didn't want. So they rejected for a long time until they were convinced that it was good.
Wow. Did you convince them or?
No, we
it's just
convinced
like
them. It was forbidden before us. We made it allowed here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's so cool. Then she finished preparing the carrots and distributed it to all the trays. Done for the day, so we went back home, and a couple of days later I went to see the second stage, the production of the protein bar. To be inside the production space, I had to put on a new swag and also help a little bit. First they clean everything with chloride and then they start making the bars. They started with this one with chocolate and banana. They put the mealworm flour, soy protein, collagen, almonds, yacon syrup, dehydrated banana and fresh banana as well.
Eso es para desinfectar los bananos porque en la calle es muy sucio.
¿Dónde hiciste tus primeras barras? ¿De aquí?
Las primeras barras las hicimos en la casa y luego llegamos aquí.
Pero en la cocina, así como se hace como una torta.
Sí, con el cuchillo, mezclar con la mano y luego con un rollo de cocina y luego con un cuchillo cortar.
Wow.
Antoine lo hizo mucho.
I'm Antoine, I'm a food engineer. I'm the co-founder of INE with Marie.
Antoine is responsible for all about marketing and sales. So he finds new clients and everything. And I take care about the production, like the logistic. We had a common friend. I think we were 22 years old, and he was working in a company in Germany making insects burgers. And I was working in Africa making insects cookies. So our friend said, hey, you're both working in insects, why don't you talk? We both wanted to start a business about insects. So we said, why not doing it together?
Wow.
So we started the project.
Wow, so cool. Then with all the ingredients, they mix everything with a cocoa powder and they test the consistency of the product to see if it's ready. Then the other bar is made with peanut butter, peanuts and cranberry, and they mix everything until it looks like this. Then they put that paste on the tray, they flatten it and cut it into bars. Then they take a bar and put it inside the packaging. And that's it. Like, I thought there was some kind of oven involved, like some kind of baking, but no, they just mix the ingredients, mold it into a bar shape, and that's it. The final step is just closing the packaging. They put it in this machine that seals the packaging and stamps the expiring date. How do you know, like, what's the expiring date?
We did some trials, so we had to like keep the bar, and every week we try the bar, and if the texture is good and the taste good, and then we also have to send the bars to analysis for microbiologists stuff like that.
They produced 1,000 bars, cleaned everything, and then we got ourselves in a taxi with the bars and went back home. I think it's fair to say this video was recorded like 4 months ago, and that is not how they make the bars anymore. In the meantime, the owner of that little factory just didn't want to rent the space anymore, so Marie had to find somewhere else to do it. Now they are doing it in Bogota, so they are outsourcing that part of the production. But still, it's nice to see that somewhere along the way of the company, it was the core team that was producing the bars. The insects engineer, the communication manager, the salesman, they were the ones there like making the bars and cutting almonds with a knife. And I think that's beautiful.
Hoy te he visto con tus libros caminando y tu carita de coqueta, colegiala de mi amor. Tú sonríes sin pensar que al mirarte solo por ti estoy sufriendo, colegiala de